지금 하버드에서 난리난 지루함에 대한 재평가가 일어났습니다.
You need to be bored. You will have less meaning and you will be more depressed if you never are bored. I mean, it couldn't be clearer. Boredom is a tendency for us to not be occupied otherwise cognitively, which switches over our thinking system to use a part of our brain that's called the default mode network. That sounds fancy. It's really not. The default mode network is a bunch of structures in your brain that switch on when you don't have anything else to think about. So you forgot your phone and you're sitting at a light, for example. That's when your default mode network goes on. We don't like it. Why is boredom so bad? Well, because the default mode network makes us think about things that might be kind of uncomfortable. When you think about nothing, well, your mind wanders and thinks about, for example, big questions of meaning in your life. What does my life mean? You go to kind of uncomfortable existential questions when you're bored. That turns out to be incredibly important, incredibly good. One of the reasons that we have such an explosion of depression and anxiety in our society today is because people actually don't know the meaning of their lives, much less so in previous generations. Tons of data show this. And furthermore, we're not even looking. Why not? I'll tell you why not. We figured out a way to eliminate boredom. We've been able almost completely to shut off the default mode network in our brains. How? The answer is that thing in your pocket with the screen, which you take out even when you're standing on the street corner waiting for the light to change. Is like, I might have to wait here for 15 seconds. What are you doing? You're actually trying to not be bored because the default mode network is mildly uncomfortable because it sends you to the types of questions that you can't get your mind around, you can't get your arms around. Well, that's a big problem. That's a doom loop of meaning. If every time you're slightly bored, you pull out your phone, it's going to get harder and harder for you to find meaning. And that's the recipe for depression and anxiety and a sense of hollowness, which, by the way, are all through the roof. I get it. You don't want to be bored. You need to be bored. Be bored more.
하버드 교수이자 사회과학자인 아서 브룩스는 지루함을 의도적으로 맞이할 때마다 우리는 삶의 의미를 더 깊이 깨닫게 된다고 말합니다. 그런데 현대의 자기계발서나 실존주의 철학에서는 그딴 거 고민하지 말고 그냥 일해라. 기계처럼 밀어붙이면 성공할 것이고 원하는 걸 이루면 행복할 것이다. 라고 말하는 게 요즘 대세죠. 하지만 그의 생각은 완전히 다릅니다.
It's not money or power or pleasure or fame, admiration. No, it's love and happiness. Do you know how to accumulate that? Do you know how to bring that to others? Well, that's what I teach. As a matter of fact, I'll be teaching that tomorrow morning in the classroom at the Harvard Business School. And I want to tell you what I'm teaching them. In this world today, they think it's a feeling. It's not. The feeling of happiness is like the smell of your dinner. It's evidence of dinner. No. Your happiness is something that you can actually understand, change your habits for, and get more of, if you know what it is. Happiness is a combination of three macronutrients: enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning. And when you know how to get more of those, you can have a better life, and you can fight for those things in our society, our culture, and our public policy to bring it to a world that needs it so much. So let me tell you how to do that. There are a lot of misconceptions about these things. The mistake that people make of thinking that enjoyment is the same thing as pleasure. It's not. Pleasure is an animal thing. Enjoyment adds people and memory to make it uniquely human. Satisfaction is the joy that you get from accomplishing something hard with struggle. Only humans want that. And finally, there's meaning. Meaning, the idea of the coherence of your life, the purpose with goals, the significance that your life matters. Our outlook or our good practices. No, on the contrary. Wonderful research that actually looks at identical twins that were separated at birth and adopted into separate families. This is not a diabolical Harvard study that did this. It just happened naturally. When we reunite these people at the age of 40 and give them personality tests and tests about all different parts of their lives, you find that about 50% of their difference in happiness is genetic. Your mother literally made you unhappy. Happiness is out of your control. No, on the contrary. The same studies show that 50% of your tendency to abuse alcohol, also genetic. But if you came to me and said, my parents drank too much and my grandparents too, so I guess I'm going to be an alcoholic, I'd say, oh, you missed a step. Because you know this, you can turn that genetic proclivity to zero by not drinking. That means habits are important if you know yourself. So the first 50% of your tendency toward happiness, genetic.
그러니 행복에는 생각보다 유전적 요소가 꽤 크게 작용하고 그 다음이 환경과 습관이라고 합니다. 다만 환경은 다소 일시적이고 습관은 꾸준히 개입할 수 있기 때문에 결국 이 습관이 환경을 바꾸고 심지어 우리의 유전적 한계까지 관리하게 된다는 것이죠. 그러면서 그는 더욱 흥미로운 지점을 짚습니다.
People ask me what I do for a living. I tell them I teach at the Harvard Business School, and they suppose that I must teach something that sounds business-like, finance, accounting, management. And I say, no, I teach happiness, and they think I'm lying. That doesn't sound like a business-like topic, but it is. Why? Because the real business of life is about being the best person that you can be. And what you want to accumulate is not money or power or the fortune of the earth. It's love and happiness.
그리고 가장 깊고도 중요한 두 가지 질문을 스스로에게 던지라고 합니다.
Ask two questions. These are deep questions, complex questions, philosophical questions. You're not going to have immediate answers, but you'll use the part of your brain that you need to discover and understand the meaning of your life. Question number one, why am I alive? Now, it might be who created me, and I think we all kind of agree on that, but it might be for what purpose? Why am I alive? What am I here to do? This is what you get to discover here. Second question is harder. Harder for people your age. Easier for people my age. For what would I give my life right now? For what would I die happily right now? The wrong answer is nothing, or I don't know. The right answer, well, that's the path of discovery. What would you give your life for? For those of you who are my age, some of you are here, what else besides your kids and grandkids? What else? There should be something else. I challenge all of us to answer this question. When I see people grappling with those questions, I see a miracle unfold of happiness and meaning.
그리고 곧 결론에 이르게 됩니다.
This is my point. You will know them by their fruits. You know the most transgressive thing that you can do in our culture today is get married young and have children and to practice your faith. That is standing up to the culture. That is being yourself. That is to be a rugged individualist in this culture. And that's what you're learning that you can be at a wonderful place like that. It took my son the Marine Corps to help him figure that out. And it took the Marine Corps to give him these answers. Why are you alive? Carlos says I'm alive because God made me to serve others. For what would you give your life? That's the easiest question ever.
아서 브룩스는 저명한 작가이자 교수이지만 동시에 카톨릭 열성 신자이기도 합니다. 그가 말하듯 그리고 성경이 증언하듯 모든 계명의 핵심은 결국 하나님 사랑, 이웃 사랑으로 모아집니다. 이건 사실 줄곧 다뤄왔던 조던 피터슨 교수의 콘텐츠 속에서도 공통적으로 드러났던 주제였습니다. 심리학적으로도 우리는 사회와 공동체 안에 속할 때, 즉 누군가와 함께하며 관계 안에서 살아갈 때 가장 큰 기쁨을 누리게 되죠. 그것이 비즈니스 학자인 아서 브룩스의 작업에서도 드러납니다. 그가 말한 행복의 3대 영양소, 즐거움, 만족, 의미, 그리고 매일 입금해야 할 4대 습관, 신앙, 가족, 우정, 일. 이걸 살펴보면 행복을 조금 더 체계적으로 바라볼 수 있습니다. 무엇보다 제 경우를 돌아보면 신앙을 가진 이후로 이 즐거움과 만족, 그리고 의미가 정말 풍성해졌습니다. 그 뒤로 매일 입금해야 하는 4대 습관 중 신앙과 가족은 자연스레 좋아졌죠. 하지만 우정과 일의 영역에서는 여전히 여러 훈련의 과정을 거쳐가고 있는 것 같습니다. 분명 모든 것을 털어놓을 수 있는 소중한 친구들이 있지만 사실 아무 목적 없이 전화를 걸 수 있는 관계가 가장 건강하고 중요하다는데 저는 아직 그 부분이 부족해 아쉬웠습니다. 또 일의 영역에서도 일과 일상이 잘 분리되지 않는 삶을 오래 살아오다 보니 이제는 그것을 조금 더 체계적으로 꾸려가는 훈련 중에 있습니다. 여러분은 어떠신가요? 물론 더 깊게 들어가면 이런 참된 행복은 결국 주님의 주권적인 은혜로 주어지는 것, 신앙의 관계 안에서 자연스럽게 흘러나오는 것입니다. 그리고 행복을 얻기 위해 신앙을 도구처럼 쓰는 게 아니라 오히려 주님과의 인격적 관계 속에서 더 풍성하고 다양한 것들을 누리게 되는 법이죠. 그럼에도 불구하고 하나님이 이 세상에 심어두신 보편적 은혜와 질서를 무시할 수는 없습니다. 받은 것은 유익하게 잘 사용하고 지혜롭게 활용하되 동시에 때로는 우둔할 만큼 단순하게 오직 주님만 우직하게 바라보는 하루가 되었으면 합니다. 여러분의 기쁨의 날에는 웃음으로, 고난의 밤엔 눈물로 동행하며 이 찬란한 십자가의 길을 끝까지 함께 걷고 싶은 저란 사람은 유튜브 읽어주는 남자입니다.